I love how YouTube is like, the internet can totally see you now. Whatever. So I know that it's super crazy late and there's probably going to be next to nobody in here, which is totally fine. I just wanted to hop on and kind of sort of do the Veda thing for tomorrow now because it's been one heck of a day. So this would be Veda for day 6. I know that it's actually after midnight over on the East Coast, but it's only 10 o'clock here on the West Coast over in Washington, so. Hi Cloudy Rose, hi Brandy, hi Elizabeth. Yeah, I never sleep. People always say, how do you get so much done? Oh, I'm averaging 4 hours of sleep a night, maybe, on a good night. Hi, Nicole. Oh, man. It has been a long, long day. The kids were up before 6, and I woke up feeling a little congested, went to blow my nose, and it's like, oh, cool, that's an awful lot of red for waking up to first thing in the morning. Had an awesome headache all day. My kids were monsters. I love my children, but oh my goodness. It's been a rough day with them. Aw, happy birthday. Hi, Athena. Hello, Anna. Yeah, I know it's crazy late over there, Elizabeth. Yes, night owls unite. Absolutely, Nicole. It's nice to know that my people are also amongst the weirdos that are crafters. I thought about recording, just regular recording with my camera, and I was like, you know what? After today, I don't have time for that. Nope. Hi, Amy. Nope, you're definitely in good company here. There's lots of us who never sleep. Hi, Jennifer. New Orleans. I know a girl who moved there. I'm super jealous of her. I was originally planning on going to college there and had a pretty decent scholarship to go to college there. And then Hurricane Katrina happened. So that was fun. Needless to say, going to college at Tulane did not happen. No fun at all. Oh, knots. Yeah, I was hoping I would have gotten more yarn dyed today, but I spent what feels like 90% of my day just peeling my kids off of each other. It was time to wrestle, and you know how kids will wrestle and they'll be having fun, but then somebody gets a little bit carried away and it becomes like a big full-on brawl because somebody got slightly hurt, so it becomes WWE in 2 seconds. Oh, I can believe it, Jennifer. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock here too. I'm in Washington, so yeah. Which sucks whenever I want to talk to family because all my family's back on the East Coast. Even all my in-laws are on the East Coast. And I actually like them. Which is so uncommon, and it figures that they're all the way on the other side of the country. I used to, Elizabeth. We don't have cable, which is ridiculous. We have every streaming service in the universe, but we don't have cable. So I haven't watched wrestling in, God, probably like maybe 10 years. It's been a long time. Long time. I'm surprised that there are people here. I was expecting to just talk to the camera and sign off because there wouldn't be anyone here, but it says there's 9 people watching right now. Okie dokie. What have you all been up to today? Do you have any plans for the weekend? Are you a person like me, who it doesn't matter what day of the week it is, there's still stuff that needs to get done? I am working on, well, that's the back side of it. This is going to be a granny square top, but it's going to be an actual top, not a shrug. Hi, Wanda. I don't know how to feel about the last episode of Lucifer, Elizabeth. I'm kinda, I don't know. I don't really like the direction that they took a lot of the characters in this season. Primarily the fact that they took Maze, who was totally a strong female character, and broke her with unrequited love. Pretty crappy. Well, it's not a total spoiler. I mean, if you've seen anything of the most recent season, I won't say a lot and go into it, but I was upset with the way she reacted to pretty much everything. And I'm pretty much over any and all of the relationships on that show. I'm just like, whatever, bleh. No. I'm just over it all. Well, I will sum it up for you without really ruining anything. Maze disappears for a few months. She shows up after not being around for several episodes and has a fit like a toddler. Aw, well, good morning, Ruthie. At least you get to hang out with me, right? Have some coffee, everything will be better. I do not have a tutorial, Wanda. I don't know if I would make one. I would suggest, though, if anybody is interested in learning to dye yarn, there are 2 channels that you should definitely check out, and they are Chemknits, Chemknits, and Hugh Loco. Chemknits does a lot of food coloring, dyeing, and a lot of weird experiments with playing around with different temperatures and just different everything in general. She has a lot of variety, and Hugh Loco is actually one of the channels that I learned to dye yarn from. How's that granny hexagon turning out, Elizabeth? I watched your last podcast, but I didn't get to see your yarn haul video yet tonight. I noticed that you put up a couple of other ones that I haven't seen yet. My children decided that somewhere in the realm of 5:30 this morning was the best time to be awake. Usually now with the time change, they're up just a little bit before 7, usually about 6:45, which is fine. Sometimes I'm awake before they are, but with how late I'm up, usually hearing them get out of bed wakes me up. Don't even bother setting an alarm anymore because those kids are like clockwork on the daily, every day. Today, however, not so much. And like I said, they ran around stomping on everybody, stomping on each other, trying to wreck everything. Killian actually did destroy 2 things today, which I'm very displeased about. He managed to completely bend and break the curtain rod on one of the windows in my bedroom. And he also yanked the cord out of the wall on the Xbox when I was powering it on so I could put in a movie. We don't have a regular DVD player, we just use the Xbox. And it won't start now. And the power brick just has an orange line on it. And I have tried every potential fix on the internet. And since that didn't work, I ordered a new power supply and am hoping and crossing my fingers that it will that it will work, because I don't want to have to go buy a new Xbox before my husband gets home. But if Killian did indeed destroy it beyond use, it's gonna have to happen. Yay! My kids are 3 and 5, Anna. I don't know if I'd say that it's great. I've never really had an issue with anybody. I've never had anybody recognize me. I don't think I'm really big enough to be recognized, so to speak, out in public. I think I would honestly be pretty surprised if someone was like, "Oh, hey, it's Random Randy." I'd be like, "What? What's going on? Who are you? Do I know you? How did you find me?" Go all Rapunzel. Yeah, ice yarns will get you. It's not, unless you go there with a purpose, it can be really, really horrible for your wallet. Yeah, I was so exhausted when the kids woke me up that early that I could not keep my eyes open and didn't feel safe even making the kids breakfast. I usually just do scrambled eggs for breakfast, and I didn't trust myself at the stove. So I put a bowl of cereal on the table for both of them and was like, "Here you go. I'm gonna go lay down on the couch. Don't kill each other. Don't set the house on fire. I need to go close my eyes for a few minutes because I can't right now." Well, good luck on getting the blanket done. You are crazy speedy with blankets, Elizabeth. Oh, Nicole. Well, there's actually, allegedly, some quasi-pseudoscience behind why everybody's being bananas this week, last week, and potentially most of next week as well. It sounds totally woo, but if you've ever heard anyone talk jokingly about Mercury being in retrograde, I actually found a really interesting article about the science of why it affects people the way that it does. It's something about the positioning of the planet Mercury in relationship to the sun, and how when it's in retrograde we're actually getting hit with more solar radiation, and it actually affects people. It affects your body. It can cause extra fatigue, irritability, mess up your circadian rhythms, all sorts of really nifty fun stuff. I stay motivated because it keeps me sane. Honestly, it is having my hands be doing something. I have to be doing something. I can't ever just sit. Ever. If we're going somewhere, I let my husband drive so that I can so that I can crochet or knit while he's driving. I really miss getting to listen to music. I don't listen to much music now, not nearly as much as I want to. Hello, Anne-Marie. Hello from Washington, the West Coast in America. Anytime I listen to music, my kids are like, "No, we don't want music." It doesn't matter what the music is. So irritating. I'm like, you are not my children. No child of mine would say, "I don't want to listen to music." Unacceptable. Hi, Michelle. I am currently working on what is going to be a granny square top. It's going to just be like a t-shirt. I'm going to have little cap sleeves and stuff. It also helps me from freaking out if I have to be around a lot of new people that I've never met before. Like, oh, I can stand here and walk and talk and knit or crochet as long as I have a big enough bag over my shoulder to hold it. Yes. And I do. And some people think it's weird, and other people are like, oh, my grandmother, mother, father-in-law, insert random family member here, knits or crochets. Yeah, I miss when my kids used to like music. Now they're too caught up in needing TV shows or to play games. And my husband and the wonderful toxic masculinity of the army, being around the army all the time, means that my 5-year-old is already too embarrassed to dance in public. Yeah. Not very pleased about that one. Hi Karen, don't let me keep you up. I never sleep. It's only 10 o'clock here too, so. I feel like people in the YouTube community get along because it's almost like a dating service, in that there are certain parameters that have already kind of been met through your preferences and your requirements. Like, you're subscribed to this person, there's got to be something about them that you enjoy, or you wouldn't be watching them, right? Unless, you know, you're a troll and you're just watching them to give them hell, which is entirely possible. Been lucky to not have any of those, though. Hi, Jacqueline. Yeah, my insomnia is so horrible that I pretty much find something to do until I start literally passing out doing whatever I'm doing. Like if I'm sitting here and typing or crocheting and, you know, my head hits the desk, I know it's time to go to bed. That's how I know it's time. Because if I just go lay down in bed, nope. I can sit in there, doesn't matter how tired I am when I crawl into bed. I can look up at the ceiling for 3 hours and waste my time, or I can get something done. 18 people? That's a lot more people than I was expecting with it being this late at night. Kinda crazy. So who are all of the other people in here who haven't introduced themselves yet? Absolutely, Nicole. It bothers me. I feel like with my husband being in the army and my older son being a sensitive kind of kid, he enjoys much softer things than most boys do. Like, don't get me wrong, he likes to run and play in Rough House just as much as most other boys, but yeah, he's a sensitive kid and enjoys things that aren't necessarily traditionally masculine things, and that's just unacceptable to some people, I guess. But at least my husband likes to cook, so Hunter gets to have fun doing that. And there's nothing wrong with staying home instead of partying. All that money that people are wasting in the bars, you can spend it on yarn. Oh, that sucks, Elizabeth. It's good to know that I'm not the only one who doesn't sleep like a normal person does. And this weird thing right here, if you're wondering what this funky phallic red thing is, this is my microphone. It just looks really, really bad. I promise this isn't one of those type of videos. Just throwing that out there. Yeah, it's been a long day. It's been a really, really long day. Oh, and on top of the kids getting up at dark 30, it was just after I made the boys dinner and had such a crap afternoon with them that I didn't even bother eating. Like, my stomach was too upset to bother sitting down to eat. So I made the kids easy, lazy mommies having trouble coping with existing dinner, which was peanut butter and jelly and a bunch of fresh fruit. So Killian scarfed it all down and he stood up. He looked around the room and I was like, "What are you doing, buddy?" He didn't even look at me. He walked over to the couch, laid down on his belly, passed right out. Gone. In less than a minute, he was out cold. I could not believe it. At about 6:30 this evening. Their normal bedtime is usually about 8:30. One of the best things to do for your insomnia is get away from screens. Blue light is bad. It legitimately does mess with your body's ability to fall asleep. If you have to be on a screen, get one of the ones that has the blue light filter, or you can actually download an app. I used to be able to have it on my phone, but my phone is now so old that that's one of those things that won't update, so I can't use it anymore, which sucks. But my Kindle has a blue light filter, and that is awesome. That helps. Only thing that sucks about reading in bed with my Kindle is that when I fall asleep reading, because as I said, have to fall asleep doing something to fall asleep, the Kindle will whack me on the face. You know, you're sitting there in bed laying like this, and it just kind of bops you in the forehead, and you're like, oh, crap. Then I can set it down and go to sleep. So ridiculous. Yeah, I've kind of just accepted that there are many things in life that I am good or moderate at, and sleeping is not one of them. Sleeping will never be something that I'm good at. Ever. I'm not sure what types of colorways I'm going to do on the cotton. I'm going to have to kind of test it out and see how it takes the dye, because I've never dyed a cotton yarn before. Only done it with wool. Theoretically, the process should be about the same, but we'll see how it goes. I did get some yarn dyed today, not nearly as much as I wanted to, but I got 6 skeins dyed today. I've seen those tablet pillows, but with the way that I sit in bed, that wouldn't work for me. I'd have to get a giant wedge pillow to put behind my back too to prop me up. Yes, I'm going to use the acid dyes for it. I like the idea of using food coloring, but I don't know. Oh. No, I'm gonna pass on that. Oh, I will. There will be pictures and video evidence abounding for it, I'm sure. It's always weird to me when it's not a daily vlog month and I'll be like, oh, I should be recording XYZ that's happening right now. But I don't have to because it's not a daily vlog month. Which is why I can't imagine doing it every single day. I don't know how Kendra over at Hooked by Happenstance and Happenstance Place does full all day, every day, daily vlogs all the time. No. Cookies? Cookies would be nice. I actually had some frozen yogurt before I got on. Have the empty bowl here, which is so horrible. But it was either that or I was gonna have to have a drink, because it's been one of those days. I am not a drinker, but oh man. It would depend on the yarn. Some of them just have a certain look to them, a certain feel to them. If you use the same yarn often enough, you can tell that that's what it is. Like getting mill end bags sometimes, like, oh, this is a Cairn 1 pound, or this is somehow a giant 16-ounce skein of Simply Soft, which I loathe, by the way. But I needed that shade of green, so whatever. I actually filmed the first 2 that I did, Ruthie, so probably for the video that'll be going up Saturday morning, that's gonna be there. Because I really enjoy it that much. This doesn't have knots, it's wound up in a cake, so I keep getting these with the metallic thread in it. It's just got extra twist on it, so it keeps wrapping around itself. Aw, that's a bummer, Karen. My kids are both winter babies, and I'm still trying to convince my husband that homeschooling is probably a better option for our kids. Have a good night, Wanda. Hope you can get some rest. Get some rest for all of us who can't. Have a snore on me. I don't remember them doing that with us, but I'm a February baby, and my birthday was always on midwinter break in the middle of February, which meant that I usually didn't get to do anything for my birthday. I keep trying to tell my husband that homeschooling is not the secluded, doesn't have to be a religious thing that it once was. We're not, in some compound cordoned off from society. There are meetup groups. There's actually a huge homeschooling community here, because it makes more sense to me if we're going to be moving every couple of years. I just remember growing up near a military base when I was a kid, that new kids would come in whose parents were soldiers, and they'd be a year or 2 ahead in some subjects, but then they'd be 3 or 4 behind in another one, and it was just really, really strange. Yeah, I graduated from high school in 2004, so it's been a while for me. And I didn't have a summer birthday, so maybe I just don't remember. Most of my friends were winter or fall babies too, so that's probably why I don't remember if it was a thing. So Hunter has actually made really good progress. He's writing a lot more, he's picking up a lot more words. One of the only things I really like about when he's using his Kindle is that he always asks me to spell things, and he's asked me to spell certain words enough times that he knows how to spell them without help, which is pretty cool, exciting. And I have level 1 and 2 of Hooked on Phonics that we've been going through the little lessons in those, and there are so many free resources available online for homeschooling that you don't really need to buy curricula, in my opinion, for the most part. Maybe once your kids get older you would need to, but it seems like for kids up to maybe say age 10, there's so much stuff online that you can get for cheap to free that I don't think it would be worth it to buy all the excessive workbooks that I see a lot of people do. It's kind of like homeschool mommy war, who has the best curriculum that they're using. Like, I read to my kids. When they ask me to spell something, I spell it for them and show them how to write the letters if they need help and can't remember. And I look at it from the perspective of, if we were to give homeschooling a test run for kindergarten, it's not like he's going to be missing a lot. I mean, we are literally on the same road as the elementary school. He could still do extracurriculars with the school. He could be on sports teams. The homeschooling community here is so large that there are businesses in the town nearby. Like, there's a taekwondo place. I don't know if they have dojos or what. I did Kangda-kwan, and the name for your gym in Kangda-kwan was a dojang, so whatever. But they have martial arts classes that are just for kids who are homeschooled, so in theory, all of these kids who are in not quite a co-op, but they have regular meetups, it'd be like having a regular class of children that you regularly interact with, and you would do other out-of-school things with them. So it's not like if my parents had homeschooled me, I'd be in the woods with zero human interaction whatsoever. Probably would have grown up to, be a serial killer. Whatever. Have absolutely zero faith in humanity because I wouldn't have had any interaction with them whatsoever. But it's just, it's not what it was when we were kids. I mean, I'm in my early 30s. He's actually 4 years older than me. I don't know. Every time I bring it up, he's like, no. I'm like, why? Why won't you even let me try it? Like, ugh. He's just so set on it. And he grew up Catholic, so you'd think that he would be more open to things that aren't of that nature since he's not religiously affiliated anymore. Yeah, no. My husband is a hard-headed one. There are so many reasons that I don't want my kids going to school. One of them being, my kids don't sit still. They suck at sitting still. Their table manners are questionable, at best. Primarily that, for instance, Killian, who is 3, is getting neater when he eats, but he still needs to stand in his chair at the table while he eats. And I'm only going to waste so much of my time telling him, sit down, sit on your butt, sit down, sit on your butt. Like, it's not worth the fight. And I don't want my kids to get in trouble and me have to go pick them up and bring them home because they're not conforming to this social expectation of sit down, shut up, raise your hand to speak. Go to the bathroom when we say you can, eat what you need to when we say you should, just no. But my husband grew up in the military. His dad was in the Marine Corps. I was talking with my dad the other day and laughing about it, and he was like, well, his dad was raised by the military and you were pretty much raised by a couple of hippies, so you and your husband are going to butt heads a lot when it comes to how you're raising your kids. So you need to be tactful and try and find a middle ground. And I was like, Dad, you know that I'm as subtle as a train wreck. Tact and I do not get along well. As long as you can clean up after yourself when you're done, Elizabeth, that's totally fine. Oh, you were that quiet? Yeah, I was talking with my mom earlier today, and I was talking about how I love my kids, but they were being rotten monsters. I was like, was I ever that bad when I was a kid? I feel like I wasn't. I feel like the things that I did get in trouble for, none of them were the ridiculous garbage that my boys get into. She was like, well, firstly, they're boys. And secondly, you didn't have anyone to fight with all the time like they do. And I was like, you know, that is a good point. Because she is the oldest of 3, and I, like Tigger, am the only one. So I feel like I don't have the coping skills to properly raise siblings. Because when they'll be doing ridiculous things, like, we have 2 couches, and they will both sit on the small couch that is only about 3 feet wide, and they are both approximately 4 feet tall. So they will stretch out as far as they can stretch. And rather than either one of them moving to the other couch, they'll poke each other and kick each other. And I'm like, oh my god, move away from each other. Why are you doing this? There's so much space here. Get away from each other. My brain doesn't register how that could make sense. It drives me insane. It's adorable until they start kicking the crap out of each other. Then it's not adorable anymore, because then I have to go literally peel them off of each other. Because they're both about 45, 50 pounds, and they're, like I said, about 4 feet tall. They're big kids for their age. There's nothing wrong with having fur babies, Elizabeth. My cat that I still have with me was my baby before I ever had human babies. And they have just as much personality as a human. Oh, yes, believe me, Jenny, I am thankful that I don't have girls. Which is another reason I don't want to have a 3rd kid. Because in my husband's family, the 3rd attempt either ends in a girl or identical twin boys. And I want neither of those things. 2 boys is plenty for me. Plenty. Yeah, I've tried to have a talk like that with my husband about being socially awkward. I was like, look, I grew up in the woods. I only saw other kids during the summer because I grew up on a lake that had a campground that was publicly accessible. Our family ran the campground, so, you know, I had summer friends who I would see every year, and we kind of got to grow up together, but I'm better with people than he is, and he grew up on a military base, always around people, with his mom dragging them off to every FRG function in the universe, and he is awful with people. My husband has 0 people skills. None. There are times when I ask how I ended up with a man who can't talk to other human beings comfortably. Like, I don't know. And then I remember that when I met him, it was seeing how sweet he was with his dog told me that he would be good with kids, and he is good with our kids on the rare occasion that he's actually home. Yes, the poking and the prodding games. And it never fails. They'll wait until I've walked out of the room. Like, oh, they've been good for like 10 minutes. I can, you know, go to the bathroom and do my business in peace and maybe have like 5 minutes to breathe. Never fails. The second you sit down, one of them is crying. It's like, oh, why? Why? Never fails. I think it must just be a boy thing. I don't know. I've heard that sometimes that sisters can be really vicious, though. I'm an only child, so I've got no clue. I don't know what it's like. Yeah, Ruthie, you're an only child too? That's awesome. I'm not the only one who's the only one. My kids are 3 and 5, Brandy. 3 and 5. Have a good day, Anne-Marie. Thanks for dropping in. Adam and I have been married 6 years this year. Our anniversary is 6/9/12. Because my husband wanted to make sure that he could never forget it. Pretty hard to forget a day that rolls like that. Five older brothers and 1 younger brother? Man. Ugh. I hear that when they get older, that girls are more likely to destroy your life from a social perspective, and that boys will just physically beat on each other. But usually, at the end of it all, when the fight is done, the boys will help each other up and shake hands, and the girls will just hate each other forever. That's kind of the funny thing with Hunter and Killian. They weigh approximately the same. They're both about 45 pounds. And sometimes Hunter gets pretty mean with Killian, and we've warned him for about the last year, your brother eats more than you. You better be nice to him, because when he gets bigger than you, he's going to remember how mean you were to him, and it's going to be bad for you. So, sometimes, when Hunter starts a fight, Killian finishes it, and I laugh. Oh, Catalina, that's no good. I didn't really date when I was a teenager. I think I was 17 when I had my first boyfriend, and that's not through any restriction of my parents. That was just, I had more important things to do, like get really, really good grades, because I knew it was the only way I was ever going to get into the college that I wanted to. And my grades were so awesome that I only would have had to pay $2,000 per semester to go full-time to Tulane in New Orleans. And then, like I said, Hurricane Katrina happened. And Mother Nature said, hey Randy, F you and your life plans. Pick a different path, biatch. It's not fun. Mine are like that sometimes. Sometimes they're so sweet with each other, but I've realized that they only stay sweet if I don't verbally acknowledge it. If I were to say to them, aw, I like when you guys get along, 2 seconds later they'll be pounding on each other, and I'm like, why? I don't get it. I'm still a little bit bitter, Karen, but there's really nothing I can do about it. I mean, I still got a degree. It's just a community college degree, and I think I had, somewhere in the realm of 20 or 30 more credits than I needed to get an associate's degree, because I was taking courses for college credit my senior year of high school. Really all I wanted was to get out of my podunk nowhere in New York. That was what I wanted. And I always swore that it would never be through marrying a soldier, because I watched so many girls a few years ahead of me in school do just that. Purposely look for soldiers to marry. I married my husband because of the person he is, not because of his job. Oh, no. Yeah, the boys tipped over one of the couches today. I was like, that falls on one of you next time you tip it over, it's gonna hurt. And I'm gonna laugh at you. And I don't care how much you cry, because you did something stupid and you earned it. My degree is in humanities and social sciences. Long story short, I studied a bunch of things that I wanted to, but I did enough of the prerequisites to make it seem cohesive. I took anatomy and physiology, I took microbiology, I took mythology and philosophy and cultural anthropology. I took a death and dying class. Oh, what else? I took a creative writing class, which was a joke to me because it was short story writing and I'm more of a novelist, so it really wasn't helpful for me. And I took some classes studying short stories and, you know, all of the other prereq nonsense that you need, like a math class and history class, which were horrible, and I did them online because, yeah, no. That's good, Anna. My husband keeps talking about wanting to get out of the military. And then I say, but what are you going to do when you get out? If you're going to get out, you need to have a plan before you get out, because I need to know if I need to beef up my resume and be looking for a job. I need to know where we're going to be moving. I need to know when it's going to happen. He's very much a fly by the seat of your pants type of guy. Me, on the other hand, I am a plan everything to the letter, including 2 or 3 potential eventualities. Yes, Killian's head healed just fine. He has a teeny little scar on the back of his scalp, but that's it. Every time they're fighting like they have been today, I'm like, I don't want to have to go sit in the emergency room for 3 or 4 hours. Don't make me have to go sit in the emergency room for 3 or 4 hours with one of you crying and screaming because you're hurt and we have to just keep sitting there waiting. Because it's not a critical injury, so it's unimportant. He's got a hard head like me. He would have been fine even if we hadn't taken him in. It just would have taken a little bit longer for it to heal. I have a bottle of liquid stitch that I keep in our first aid kit because I have boys and I know how boys are. Have a good night, Elizabeth. I hope you get some rest. Thanks for hanging out. Oh my god, have I really been on for almost an hour already? So weird. There are 15 people in here right now. Allegedly. I would say that they are easier to dress, primarily because boys' clothes are made to accommodate for movement. You know, young children move around a lot, and I've seen how horribly tight little girls' jeans are, and it's like, how is a little 3 or 4-year-old girl going to climb up a ladder on a playground with pants like that on? Oh wait, she can't. So already we're trying to cripple our little girls into not letting them do everything that boys do, that they are also physically capable of doing. No. Which is another reason I'm super glad I didn't have girls, because they would be horrendously tomboyish and just so not feminine, just like me. It's horrible. So awful. Yes, Brandy, you should go to bed. Go to bed for those of us who aren't quite there yet. really have a favorite cotton. I like the Premier Home Cotton because it's actually a cotton poly blend. Usually when I use cotton, it's for making crop tops, and the little bit of the polyester in it gives it more stretch and better retention of the stitches when it gets moist than a 100% cotton does. So if you're wearing one of those tops and you are at the beach or get tossed into a pool, it's not going to fall off and sag horrendously everywhere the same way that a 100% cotton would. Oh, one more row is the worst thing to tell yourself. That's just like when you're reading a book. Just one more chapter. Just one more chapter. One more. One more chapter. Next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, the birds are singing, and you just finished the last page of the book. Oops. Yeah, let your little girl wear comfortable clothes and let her play. Seriously, I hate... Another thing that really bothers me is seeing tons and tons of little girls at the playground wearing skirts. Like, why is your 5-year-old wearing a skirt at the playground? Do you want her to just sit on the swings or sit and watch everybody play? I don't understand. My hair was always in a braid when I was little because I had my hair all the way down to my waist up until I was about 11, I think, was the first time I got my hair cut. 10 or 11. How big is the blanket that you're making, Brandy? And don't get me wrong, like, if a little girl wants to wear a skirt or a dress or something, that's fine. But I feel like you should just put a pair of bike shorts on them so that they can still run and play while they are out at the playground. Like, you know, once your kids are old enough to want to dress themselves, you gotta kind of let them have that freedom of expression. But oh my lord, I can't imagine going to the playground and being in a skirt. It makes me angry for those little girls. That's a good idea, Karen. Just something under it if they're going to be out, you know, playing where there's potential for looking up. Because I totally get your kids wanting to wear ridiculous things. Totally understand it. Killian, before he was potty training, was totally stuck on wearing footy pajamas all the time. And his shoes were just big enough that he could wear his footy pajamas out of the house. He was super, super happy when that happened. Ah, well, that'll be good to have it done for him by then. I think you can do it. You can get it done. I remember when I was younger, kind of being a little bit jealous of the pretty girls, but then realized that there were a lot of things that they missed out on because their beauty sacrificed so much else. So I'll stick to being me. Yes, skirts. People also call that culottes. At least my parents always referred to it as culottes. Which is kind of, you know, it's a happy in between. Well, you know what I mean when I say pretty girls. The ones who always look put together and they just... Every outfit that they wear, you're like, man, I wish I could look like that. And here I am, you know, hoodie that doesn't fit me, that I had to cut the stupid neck on because my big fat head wouldn't fit through the damn thing. And my pajamas that I wear all the time because this is Halloween. All the time. Oh, and I have Halloween socks. There's like little witch kitties on my socks. Yeah, Hunter is starting to not like wearing jeans too because they're uncomfortable for him. And I'm like, dude, if your jeans are too tight or they're not comfortable, we can get you sweatpants. We can get you something that's more like a khaki, that's a lighter material, that's not going to constrict you. Oh, uniforms. Yeah. My high school talked about going the way of uniforms a lot, but it never actually happened, and as far as I know, it still hasn't happened. I don't have very many yoga pants anymore. I feel like yoga pants are an around the house thing for me, but if I'm gonna go out of the house, I need to just throw on a pair of jeans. I totally feel the same way. I feel like I am entirely too boyish to be pretty. Like, I could go through the laundry list of things that I find wrong with my appearance that make me much more masculine than I feel a woman should be. And it's horrible because people are so critical of themselves. And 90% of people who see you don't see any of the bad crap that you think about yourself that you have been programmed to think is bad. I don't think jeans are evil because I tend to wear skinny jeans and I could still kick a man who's over 6 feet tall in the face wearing jeans. It's good that they actually let you wear pants instead of the skirt. I know that some schools are really stupid strict about the girls have to wear skirts and they can't wear pants and blah blah blah. Like, why? Pre-programming perviness much? Your thighs aren't too big. I don't feel like there is any such thing as too big. People of various ethnic heritages, everyone's body shape is different. Everyone. You could even take somebody who has the same genetic roots as I do, and I guarantee you our body types would be completely different. And being on a military base, I have learned that I will never assume to know anyone's ethnicity based on what they look like. Because there's a woman who I've met here who, at first glance, judging from the tone of her skin and her hair and her freckles and the shape of her body, I would have assumed that she was Hispanic. Turns out that her dad is black, and he actually met her mother in Germany. So she's half black, half white German. She's really pretty, but I never would have pegged those things from the way that she looks. So it's like, okay, I'm never going to say aloud to someone, oh, well, you're this, right? I think that's ridiculous. Wear what you're comfortable wearing. If you don't like the way your body looks and you don't feel comfortable wearing something like leggings, then don't. But if you would feel more comfortable wearing them, people can look and sneer all they want. Who cares? They're idiots. It's not their body. It's not their business. That's my 2 cents in that regard. If it's not causing me physical harm and it's not putting anyone else physically in danger, whatever works for you. And yes, the standards of beauty are horrendous. I mean, when I was about 6 months before I met my husband, I finally had what I had always deemed to be as close to the ideal body as I would ever have. Because I've always been kind of flat chested, and I mean, even after having 2 kids, I'm still barely a B. Whatever. Go to sleep, Karen. Thank you for dropping by. But yeah, when I was about 23, 24, I was going to the gym at least 5 days a week for a combined total of 2 to 3 hours. I really like going to the gym. It was essentially my therapy then, like crochet is for me now. I wish that going to the gym could be my therapy now, but I can't do that because I'm not going to pay a babysitter to watch my kids so I can go to the gym on top of paying a gym membership. Nope. Not going to happen. I do most of my crochet work after the kids go to bed. I can occasionally get some done during the day, but the nice thing about crochet as opposed to knitting is I can do a row or two and set it down and walk away halfway through it and not lose my place. Knitting, not so much. But that ideal body for me, I'm 5'8", so I'm fairly tall. I was 126 pounds. And I was not skinny. I was not thin. I only had like 7% body fat because I went to the gym all the time. I was super toned. I was in really good shape. And that was as close to the ideal body that I had always wanted as I will ever get, because like I said, I'm never going to be as big on top here as society expects me to be. And then I met my husband, and he likes to cook a lot, and I put on about 10-15 pounds within the first 2 months of us dating. And then I had his giant children and gained 60 pounds. And now I'm steady at about 180, and it kills me daily. But I'm hoping to get down ultimately to about 160. 160 would be nice. Hi, Cindy. That sounds like a cool thing. Triple D, oh my god, your poor back. How do you live? When my boys were little and, you know, being full of milk, I was barely a C then. So, yeah, it's just not in the cards for me to be chesty, like, ever. No matter what. And surgery's not something that I've ever wanted. I figure if it's not something that my body can produce on its own, then it's not meant to be there. Whatever. Why is it saying that I'm offline? Am I still online? Are there still people? It's saying that the time is still running, but it's not showing anything. An H. Oh my god. How? How? See, when I was younger, I always used to scorn my mom because that side of the family, this is not in the cards for my mom's side of the family, but they're all like 5 feet tall, so they can be an A or a B cup and it looks normal. I'm 5'8". Being that small does not look normal. You do the bra pocket thing, Ruthie? Ugh. I have to say that was one of the things that working retail I hated the most. Like, if somebody reaches into their cleavage to pull out money or a credit card to hand to me, I'm gonna get out the Lysol and I'm gonna spray it before I take it out of your hand. I won't. No. No. The dog. Oh, Hugo. I love when your dog shows up in your videos, Ruthie. He's a character for sure. Horrible. Yeah, that's not a problem I've ever had. I remember the moment though that I switched over from wishing that they were bigger to, oh my lord, how do people function with these things? Like, ever. And one of the boys was asleep when they were significantly younger, when we still lived in Maryland, and I went to run upstairs because one of them woke up and was making noise and I didn't want them to wake the other one, and didn't have a bra on. Running up those stairs when I was a C was murder. I was like, oh no, oh, this is unacceptable. As soon as I feel better, I am going to be working out and these things are going to shrink, because that is not okay. I am working on making a top, Cindy. It is just going to be, it's going to be 2 squares. I don't know if I can get it close enough so you'll actually be able to see the color. Well, maybe that's a little bit better. Sparkly yarn! But it's just going to be 2 granny squares, and I'm going to do like a neckline, seam it, and make little calf sleeves. That is the Hirschner's Spice, and this is the Hirschner's Holiday Yarn Shimmer Black whatever, since their yarn doesn't usually have colorways on it. Yeah, I intended for the spice to be something different, and after 2 attempts at making that pattern in one day and frogging 10 45-inch long rows twice in one day, I was like, no. This yarn needs to be a project that is not this. And yes, Cindy, it's going to be for me. I'm going to just wear a black tank top under it, like I do with pretty much everything, because 90% of factory manufactured clothing is made for women who are significantly shorter than me. So even things that are supposed to be long and tall, no, they are not. And I'm not comfortable enough with the shape of my belly for it to be hanging out for the whole world to see. So there's that. How many more rows do I have of this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is the last row of this color before I switch it again. Yay! And there's helicopters flying overhead and airplanes. Artillery hasn't been rocking the house tonight, which is nice. It was last night, though. My mom's that way, Cindy. She's only 5 feet tall. She still buys her jeans in the little boy section because they're more comfortable than girls' jeans, because, you know, they don't cling everything. Oh, good night, Nicole. I hope your little one gets back to sleep. Nightmares are no good. We know all about that in this house. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of interesting stuff to say. Just, today sucked. I really, really sincerely hope that tomorrow is much better, or lower on the scale of suckitude. That would be nice. That would be very, very nice. Are you hanging out down here with me because of the helicopters, Miss Dog? Yeah. Anybody have any questions? Oh, tomorrow. Not particularly. Tomorrow's what? Tomorrow's Thursday? No, tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow is Friday, so that means we're probably gonna hide in the house most of the day. Have a good night, Cindy. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, having wide hips but having a flat butt is no fun. I'm with you on that one. But yeah, with it being Friday tomorrow, anything that we do will be done prior to quitting time, because I do not want to be on any of the roads here because both of the gates get clogged up. The highway right outside of the gate gets backed up for miles when it's quitting time. Just, no. No. And the kids are finally better, but I am not. Because I don't sleep. And when I do sleep, I have sleep like I did last night, where I woke up 3 or 4 times with Charlie horses in my legs so bad that it was very, very difficult for me to not be screaming about it multiple times. Super fun. And then the kids got up at like 6 o'clock, so happy day! I live in Washington State. The black yarn, it feels like any regular acrylic. If you were to separate the plies, you might be able to feel the metallic thread in it, but it really doesn't feel any different from one of the newer Red Heart Super Savers or something like that. It's actually pretty nice. I really like Hirschner's yarn. We don't have pickles in our house because nobody eats them. Well, my husband will eat them if I have them in the house, and then I don't get to have any because he eats them all. But I'm going to make a point of eating a banana and drinking a bigger glass of water than usual before I go to bed tonight, so hopefully that will not be an issue again. I think it was also a problem that I was so tired when I went to bed last night that I didn't move at all. I'm normally a very active sleeper, which is also probably part of the reason that I suck so much at sleeping, because I don't sit still even when I should be resting. How can you not eat a pickle just by itself is a better question. It's never too late to learn. I am actually crocheting though, not knitting. I actually take magnesium daily. It helps lessen my headaches. It doesn't completely eliminate them, but it does help make them more tolerable. Spicy pickles. Ew, no, those are horrible. I like bread and butter pickles. They're not quite as sweet as sweet pickles, but they're not quite as sour as dill pickles. They're kind of a happy in-between pickle, in my opinion. Yeah, they were the super fun kind of leg cramps where you wake up and the entire muscle of your calf is kind of atrophied and frozen in a flexed position. Super fun. The only thing that helps him is massaging it, but it hurts to touch. So you're like, oh God, why? Why have you forsaken me? If we had any mustard in the house, I would try that. Maybe I will have to get some so that I can try it. And I honestly don't know how it happens. Usually it happens to me during times of high stress when I'm sleeping like crap anyway. And the only other times that I really had issues like that was when I hit my last growth spurt when I was a teenager and was having horrendous leg pains. As you know, my bones were growing, which is super, super fun. I grew 2 inches in one summer when I was 16. That was a blast and a half. So whenever my kids are at a stereotypical age to be having a growth spurt and they're complaining about something hurting, I'm like, okay, heat on whatever the body part is that hurts, have a banana before you go to bed, drink a big glass of water, take a Tylenol, go to sleep, and hopefully you'll only wake up screaming once or twice in agony. I would, but it's just me here with my kids right now, so I can't really leave the house with them snoozed out. I mean, I could, but I really shouldn't. Hour and 17 minutes. Jeez. I think I will give it until it's been an hour and a half, so about 13 more minutes, and then I will sign off so I can go read until my Kindle punches me in the face. I do not like hot Cheetos. I honestly don't really like hot, spicy anything. I like things that have flavors from spice. But I don't like things that burn me going in because I know they're gonna burn going out. With nacho cheese, oh my lord, eek. Yeah, I don't like spicy food. My husband picks on me all the time, and I'm like, I grew up in a house where like, our cooking spices were salt, pepper, garlic, and cinnamon, and that was, like, it. So, it just wasn't a thing, so I don't have the palate for it. Crocheting without looking, I attribute it to the fact that my eyesight is so horrible. I can do a lot of things without looking directly at it, and I kind of just do it by feel. I type the same way. I don't know, it's just a thing, I guess. I'm not quite to the point where I can knit without looking at it yet, though. I'll get there eventually. Unless it's stockinette in the round, then I don't have to look at it at all. Well, have a good day, Ruthie. Thank you for coming to hang out. I hope that we helped make your earlier than expected morning not so horrible. Gotta be something in the air. Everybody's up way too early today. Oh, I'm yawning. Yay, I'm finally starting to get tired. About time. Oh, it's not even 11:30 yet. Wow. Getting up that early is really taking a toll on me today, I guess. I have to laugh every time people say, oh, you know, the average adult functions best on 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Yeah, no. There aren't enough hours in the day for me to sleep that much. I got stuff to do. And aside from that, I can't do 90% of them when my kids are awake. So, yeah. Once the kids go to bed, it's time to get things done. And tomorrow I have to take pictures of all of the yarns that I've dyed that are dry for my Etsy shop. I want to tweak my logo so I can put it on bands for the yarn, get everything labeled, get everything photographed. Probably have an update ready maybe for Saturday. It is 11:20 right now, Brandy, and I do not catalog anything. I have my yarn to the quantity now where I can look at the shelf and know at a glance what I have. And the things that aren't on the shelf are in quasi see-through bins, so I can look at it and go, oh, that's the one that's got these things in it. So before I go buy stuff, I look and make sure that I'm not going to be buying duplicates of stuff I already have. Because I found that I gravitate towards certain types of yarns more so than others. I've been getting to bed around usually 1:30, 2 o'clock for the past week. I just can't adjust to the time change this time around. I don't know what is going on. It's so horrible. Got that daylight savings time hangover. But it's been going on for almost a month now. You'd think I would have gotten used to it by now. No. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's aircraft flying overhead too. That doesn't help any. I love when they're doing night training missions. It's so awesome. I wish my kids slept in. I am more nocturnal by nature, and both of my kids are generally up and at 'em, ready to go by like 6:30. And I'm like, excuse me. See this cup? This is Mommy's coffee cup. Is there still coffee in this cup? Yes, there is. Until this first cup is gone. And honestly, because my kids are such early risers, if they do sleep in, I'm borderline having a panic attack, thinking that they passed in their sleep or that somebody has abducted them, and I go in to like peek and check on them every 20 minutes. Like, are they alive? Are they breathing? What's going on? It's so ridiculous. You spend all this time wishing they'd sleep in, and then the whole time they do, all you do is worry. Just like, oh, I wish I could get a break and get out of the house without my kids. And then when I do get out of the house without my kids, it's all, I hope they're okay. I hope they have everything they need. I hope they're not sad and missing me because I'm not here. It's so stupid. Horrible. I used to be that way and be up that late. Back when I had a job that was an evening job, not quite a night job, but it was usually a 2 to 10 shift or a 3 to 11 shift. But then I married a man who has to be up for work at 5 o'clock in the morning every day, and had 2 early bird children. So here I am with my circadian rhythm totally out of whack because my biorhythms are saying, it's okay, sleep in. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and if I am not awake with them, the house will look like a hurricane hit it when I get out to the living room. The second I hear them leave their bedroom, I'm up and out of bed. It might not be fully functional, but I am up and out of bed as soon as they wake up, if they get up before I do. Oh, finally getting tired. Yay! Hopefully that tiredness will persist when I go to lay down in bed. And if not, maybe I'll get a good chunk of a book read. We shall see. I don't think I'll get the rest of this row done tonight. But we will see what I can accomplish in the next 5-ish minutes. There are 12 people here now. I'm going to in a few minutes, Anna. Well, I say go to bed, but I'm gonna have to let the dog out, gonna have to let the cat out, feed the dog, feed the cat, fill the coffee maker, wash my face, brush my teeth, and then maybe get in bed. So I'll probably actually be in bed after midnight. Oh, I hate that. That's so horrible. Ugh. If coffee doesn't do anything for you, you're not making it strong enough. We have Folgers Gourmet Supreme Dark Roast and put about half a cup of grounds for a pot of coffee. We have a fenced-in backyard, so that's the only reason that I can let him out at night, and he doesn't stay out for long. I mean, I let him out, and as soon as the dog barks, they both come back in, so it works. And then the cat will come snuggle in bed with me and attempt to groom my hair 9 dozen times all night long and wake me up constantly with his slurpy sandpaper tongue. More grounds and a different type of coffee, because I've tried, even within the Folgers brand, I've tried, say, their breakfast blend of coffee, and it's very sharp and bitter and doesn't do anything. If you want to have more caffeine in it, go for a darker roast of coffee. I'm not quite sure, I haven't ever looked into the science of why, but I know that it has a higher caffeine rating. And it tastes better. It's a lot smoother. I'm sorry to hear that, Beverly. I hope you can get some rest even if you don't get to sleep. Oh, that's no fun, Anna. Yeah, if we didn't have a fenced-in yard, I wouldn't let him outside at all. This is actually the first time he's been able to be outside, because when I first got him as a kitten, I lived in an apartment. 2nd-story apartment with no balcony or anything, so yeah. But now that he's gotten a taste for being outside and getting to play on the grass and dig and poop everywhere in my garden, he enjoys going outside quite a bit. Yep, I get the Folgers Gourmet Supreme Dark Roast. There's actually a local, I'm not sure what you would call it, roasting company, maybe, for coffee here. It's called Battle Bean coffee. I've never tried it, but I hear that it's high test stuff. If military coffee is anything like what my dad calls cowboy coffee, my dad always called it cowboy coffee, the kind of coffee where you've put so many grounds in it that when you actually get a cup of it, you have grounds in your cup. So you're not just getting the water, you're also getting the crunchy bits. And it's super, super strong. Yeah, we usually do slightly more than a quarter cup, about a third of a cup of grounds to the 8 line on the pot. Yeah. High test stuff. But the good thing is that when my husband is gone, I only have to make a pot of coffee like every 3 days. Because I don't drink as much of it because I make it so strong that I can have 1 or 2 cups and be good. Yeah, I don't do energy drinks. I think they taste horrible. And I don't like that they make me feel jittery. The only one that didn't make me feel jittery were the Mountain Dew Amps, whichever one the blue one was. I think it had something in it that was supposed to help you focus. But it didn't taste like an energy drink, it just tasted like a regular soda. So I could drink 3 or 4 of them and not think anything of it, and then be like, why am I feeling colors? Way too many stimulants, that's why. Not good. Well, I almost got 3 rows done on this, hanging out here with all you people. So that is pretty awesome. And this is the last row of this black one, and then I should be switching to the spice. And then I should be done with this square. I don't ever have an issue with my anxiety detracting from my want to crochet, but sometimes I get so just depressed and usually angry at myself that I don't do anything. I'll just sit there and I'll put on some junk TV and just sit there like a slug. Oh, 48 hours. Oh, Lord. I know it's early over there. Good morning, Kim. Yeah, I figured when I got on that you folks over in the UK would probably just be waking up. I'm going to be heading out shortly here. Just crocheting along. Having some adult conversation because my kids were demons today. Felt like finding some holy water and the power of Christ compels you, the power of Christ compels you. It was that bad. So bad. That's one good thing about caffeine. It's an appetite suppressant. And if you've never had a day like that with your kids, you are very lucky. I have days like that with my children several times a month, usually about an average of one a week. One day that's just a total dumpster fire and you question why you ever had children. Like, I love you, but I don't like you very much right now. I will always love you. Please go away. Go play in the living room. Go do something quietly. Please leave me alone. Being an only child and an introvert and having two kids that constantly need to be in my face and in my space is very, very stressful. I'm on the last side of this row. I'm going to finish this side and then I'll call it quits. What the heck? Oh yeah, I do that all the time. I give them one warning, a second warning, and then I say, oh, hey, you're being an idiot. If you get hurt, don't come crying to me about it, because you earned it. You earned it. Good morning. Oh, a daycare. No. With the rate that babysitters and daycares get here, I've had a few people say to me, oh, well, why don't you just run a daycare? It's like, I know this is gonna sound horrible, but I don't like children. I don't really like babies. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my kids and I will never be mean to another child, especially somebody else's kid, but I prefer the children I'm around to be potty trained and able to talk and express themselves. I can't imagine being in charge and, you know, being responsible for the lives of more small people than I already am. That's a good point too, because I like my house to be in one piece. But my house is never in one piece at the end of the day. Some days, when I'm having a really bad day, like I did today, Hunter, who is super, super sweet, I'll be, you know, down here in my cave, hiding. The door will be open so they can come get me if they need to. Good night, Brandy. Hope you get some rest. But if I'm having a horrible day, Hunter knows that when they clean things, it makes me happy. So if I have a total garbage day, I'll hear Hunter say to Killian, hey Killian, let's pick up our toys and put them away. It makes mommy happy when we clean things. I want her to smile again. I don't want her to be sad anymore. Kills me. That kid. The first time someone breaks his heart, I'm gonna break someone's jaw. Because I know it's gonna happen. 7 kids. No, too many. My 2 that I spawned are more than enough for me. I have watched our neighbors' children, who are close in age to mine, a few times and had all 4 of them together, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't want to have any more. I'm good. I don't mind caring for children when I get to send them back. But if I had all that many of my own that I couldn't shoo away from me when I was totally over it and done, no thank you. People who have that many children, you are saints and you are wonderful people. I do not have that much patience. I know myself and I know I don't. I'm really not a big fan of babies. Like I said, I would never go out of my way to be unkind to a baby or a small child, but they're defenseless jelly beans. I mean, the way the human body is constructed, what weird folly of nature decided that it was a good idea to have something at birth have its brain and skull be so heavy that its neck couldn't support the weight of its head? That's just foolish. 9 kids of her own. See, I feel like unless you have a really big farm and you need, you know, labor, that there's no reason to have that many kids. I mean, nope, 2 is plenty for me. More than enough. But if people want to have that many kids, that's their business. Their body, their business, not mine. See, I just really don't like them. I'm afraid that I'm going to hold them wrong and cause them injury because babies are so fragile. Which is ridiculous because I have helped birth kittens and puppies and, you know, given CPR to a stillborn puppy to bring it back to life. But I'm afraid of hurting a baby human. Even though they're significantly larger than a baby puppy or a baby cat. Yay! Done with the row! Woohoo! Gonna join on my other color and cut it loose. See, I didn't think that the labor in and of itself was that bad when I got to have a natural birth and could get up and walk around and eat and drink and go to the bathroom and shower. That was nice. Hunter's birth was traumatic, even though I was still lucky to not need to have a cesarean with him. And anybody who has a C-section, use real MVP, because those things are no joke. No joke. Anybody who tries to tell you that it's not really giving birth doesn't know about how horrendous the healing is from a C-section. Oh, I was yelling a ton. The hospital that we were in when I had Killian, there were women all up and down the ward that you could hear screaming, and you could tell by the way the screaming escalated and then quieted when they finally had the baby. It was actually pretty cool and encouraging in a strange kind of way. But my husband, being the wonderful ray of sunshine that he is, counted approximately how many times I was screaming, "I can't effing do this," while giving birth to Killian. I think he said it was either 53 or 63. It's like, thanks, dear. Thank you for keeping track. This is why I love you. It's the little things that count. My labor for Killian wasn't as long. Once we got to the hospital, I was only in labor for 3 or 4 hours with Killian, but with Hunter, I was in labor for like 12 hours. It was bad. So bad. Oh, that's crazy, Beverly. That's a lot of stuff to have going on. My kids were 9.5 pounds and 22 inches tall when I had them. So I was not quiet at any point. During delivery, I was not quiet. And on top of that, they were sunny side up, both of them. Which isn't breech, just means that they're turned this way in the wrong direction. And another reason that I don't want to have more kids, both of them were the same way. And I had the midwife who I was seeing during my whole pregnancy tell me that based on the shape of my hips, I would probably always have, if I were to have more children, they would always be turned facing the wrong direction. Because that's just the way their heads settle into the shape of my hips. Horrible. Normal delivery time, I think, is somewhere between 6 and 10 hours. Good luck getting most doctors to let you go that long, though. With Hunter, I was in labor for 12 before I finally had him, and the only reason that I had him when I did is because the doctor was threatening to knock me out and take me down to surgery and get him out of me, even though he wasn't showing any signs of distress or anything. So needless to say, fun tearing occurred, many stitches were had. It was not a good time. 1 out of 10 would not recommend. I think labor is classified as the final contractions that lead up to delivery of the baby, because I had what they call Braxton Hicks contractions through the whole 3rd trimester of both pregnancies. Thank you, Beverly. Have a good night. Yeah. Oh, and circumference of their head when they were born, 15 inches. 15. I had 2 that were the same size. That's why I don't want any more. I'm done. My body has been abused enough. I'm done. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. My kids were the size of an average 3-month-old when they were born. My husband seems to think we need to try for a 3rd. And I'm like, no. If you really want a 3rd that bad, we can either adopt or you can go get another wife, because the baby making factory's closed. Shut down. Condemned. No longer in operation. No. Love my kids. I do not want any more children. I would actually like to foster when they're a little bit older, but I don't know if I'd even want to adopt. That's what I always say. I always tell him that if we're seahorses now and he can be pregnant and bear and birth the children, we can have as many more as he wants. I would totally be okay with that. But I am not birthing any more children. No. Yeah. It's I tied on the other color of yarn. That's what we were thinking about, Anna. talking about once the boys get older, maybe doing foster care and potentially adopting. Maybe. But it would be older kids. I wouldn't want to be adopting a baby. No. All done with babies. My youngest is just finally starting to be a person in his own right and can go to the bathroom by himself 50% of the time. So yeah, I don't want to do diapers again. Except maybe someday changing, you know, nieces and nephews if my sister-in-law ever has kids. Which I don't know if she will. That's a good kind of baby. I could go for a yarn baby. Get one of those big 8-ounce skeins like the ones I have over there and just wrap it in a receiving blanket. Aww. Yeah, I could do that. I'd be okay with that. Alright, I'm gonna get to this corner and quit, or I'm gonna be here all night. I have a problem. This is like trying to get off the phone with me, by the way. Like, no, I don't ever have adult interaction. Please don't leave me. But life and other things exist. I know. Please don't leave. Oh, triplets, no. That just sent a jolt of fear through my heart. Yeah, if you're not sure if you'd trust yourself, Jenny, it's probably better not to. I think those reborn babies are creepy. But I have always had a strong dislike for dolls, so that might just be childhood fears and agitation creeping into my daily life. Because there are some times when my kids are so rotten and awful that I have to just put them in their room and close the door and walk away for a few minutes. Like, this is for both of our sakes. This is for your safety and mine. Because I am not a corporal punishment type of parent. That's just not how I do things. But days like today, oh, just in case the holy water didn't work, there was an itching for a smackdown to occur. It was bad. It was so bad. So bad. But tomorrow will be better, right? Yes, tomorrow will be better. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. Alright, everybody. We are down to 7 people watching now, so I think I am gonna call it quits and go get ready for bed. It is almost midnight now. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Oh, yeah, no, that's unacceptable. That would be like, okay, we're gonna go call Lorraine Warren, and she's gonna take care of this and put this in her room of stuff that is haunted and or cursed. Well, she's still around anyway. I'd love to meet her before she's gone. Yeah, I'm one of those people. And Lorraine Warren, if you don't know, demonologist. She and her husband did a lot of paranormal cases for a very, very long time. He's passed now. Me too, you'd love to meet Lorraine Warren, or what? no, there's more people again. I really liked when she would make an appearance on Paranormal State. I really liked that show. It's something that I've always been interested in because I've experienced some weird stuff in my life. Weird things. Good morning, Lena. It is almost midnight here on the West Coast in America. I am just getting ready to head out because it is getting to be this mommy's bedtime. And I've said one more row like 3 times now, and it is so bad. Horrible. The one more row bug has got me. Yeah, my husband was raised Catholic, but he is a complete non-believer in all things because he has never experienced anything out of the ordinary. He's one of those, I have to see it to believe it type of people, and I'm like, well, I've never seen a volcano in person. Does that mean that volcanoes aren't real? I've never seen a killer whale in person. Does that mean that they're fictional because I've never physically witnessed one before? The answer to that is no, by the way. So, my opinion is that to completely discount every single person's paranormal experiences is folly. My personal opinion. Are some people fakes? Absolutely. Does that mean that every single person is? No. Hello, Caroline. Caroline or Carolyn? Absolutely, Lena. Absolutely. But when he became disillusioned with the church, he completely removed himself from everything that he cannot empirically prove himself. Which is fine. I understand why he's that way. It can be frustrating sometimes. Because he's like, oh, well, you believe in this. And then I make a snarky comment about his former belief in the Almighty. Because I'm snarky like that. Which princess? This thing's almost like a blanket now. size. Queen size blanket is crazy. I don't even have the stamina to finish a throw-sized Afghan most of the time. So horrible. I could make 500 hats and not bat an eye about it, but you extend the stitching to take a little bit longer, and it's no good. It's just not, nope, not my thing. Snowing? Oh no! Hi, Random Reviews. I am Random Randy. How are you? Oh my goodness. Yes. Devour the sun. Not that there's ever any sunshine here in Washington anyway. Oh my goodness, I am putting the stitching away because I am getting ready to sign off. It is now 12:01 a.m. and I finally feel tired enough that I might actually be able to go to sleep. Renegade, you don't need to growl at the cat. You don't need to growl at the cat. Come here, kitty. Kitty, kitty. Come here. There we go. Come here. Come here. Oh, come here. I got you. Oh. Thank you for sticking around, Autumn. Stay till 1:15 a.m. No thanks. Purring cat. Yeah, he's pretty mellow. He's getting old. He's a big, chubby, snuggle monster who still sleeps on my pillow like he's a kitten. Yeah, I don't usually go live every night, but for the whole month of April, I'm going to be having a video up every day at some point. And now that we've crossed over onto the 6th, this can technically count as my Veda for the 6th. Yes, you are very sweet. Well, as far as cats go, he's not really that old. He's 8? Are you 7 or 8 this year? He will be 7 in July. The dog will be 8 this year. I probably will do a late night live again before the month is out. The cat's name is Nergal, Nergal, who is the consort to the goddess of the underworld in the, what is it, the Enuma Elish, I believe. Mesopotamian, Babylonian mythology. Nergal, Nergal. And he purrs like that until he falls asleep, by the way. Lots and lots of purring. Incessant purring. Yes, Nergal. Who I believe was also the god of war and plague, on top of being married to the queen of the underworld. Yes. Hello, you. He's awfully squidgy and huggy for god of the underworld. Hello, kitty cat. That would be the one. And his sister's name was Ereshkigal. We called her Kiga for short. I actually took in his mom, not knowing she was pregnant, as a street cat, and then she popped out 5 kittens. I could only keep one of them. My dad actually has his brother. Yep. My dad has his brother, and the other 2 found other homes. A friend of mine actually brought her into her house. She lives quite the life now. She's another crafty person. She makes steampunk accessories and like demon horn headbands and stuff. So she's a spoiled rotten kitty cat too. Yes, you just never stop purring, do you? All the purrs. All the purrs are for you. I mostly crochet, but I also knit. I make a lot of stuffed toys. I make hats. Sometimes I crochet tops. Make lots and lots of toys for my kids. Because anytime I make something, they think that it's for them. So then I have to make another one if it's something that's going out for an order. So anytime people tell you that cats are not affectionate, remember this cat. All the affection, this one. Not on Amazon, on Etsy. There should actually be a link to my shop down in the description of the video somewhere. It should just say Etsy and it's there. I really like cats. I enjoy dogs too. I'm one of those people that does enjoy both for different reasons because cats and dogs have different personalities, you know, they're a different sort of creature. I just prefer cats because they don't bark. I don't know about a donation to the cat. I want to teach my boys to crochet. I just wish he didn't still curl around my head on my pillow at night like he did when he was a kitten. Because, you know, he's a giant cat that's like 15 pounds. 15 or 16 pounds. I could totally use $20 for the cat. I get him fancy grain-free cat food and fancy litter. Are you chewing on the string? You're being crazy now. That's awesome that he enjoyed learning crafts from you. I hope that mine will want to learn when they get a little bit older. Right now they totally don't have the patience for it. They're only 5 and 3. You have a very twitchy tail, mister. Are you telling me it's time to go to bed? You're saying shut up, Mom, and go to bed? Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Have a safe trip to work, Artie. Ooh, finger knitting. That's actually something that I've never tried. I see it and I'm like, ooh, I want to do that. And I'm like, no, I could just get out like a size N crochet hook and do the same thing. I'm good. I'm sure he will appreciate the donation when I get him some fancy organic catnip too. I spoil the pets like they're kids. Like I said, the cat was my baby before I had people babies. And the dog that's on the floor over there. Oh, I don't smoke cigarettes or drink beer. Anyway, so that wouldn't even be a thing. That might actually be a good idea for them. I've considered that. I have some of the small knitting looms, so maybe the smallest one to let them play if they were interested in it. Hunter kind of has a problem-solving issue in that rather than saying, oh, I had trouble with it, I'm gonna try again, he just gets pissed and throws it and stomps off. Like, okay. Not gonna push it if you're that upset. Oh, you don't need to send any more. That was more than generous. Thank you. Hey, buddy. You ready to go to bed? Yeah, you're almost falling asleep in my lap. So I am going to head out, everyone, because as I said, it is getting late here. And I have a dog looking expectantly at me because she needs outs. It is that time of night. It is good to donate money when you have extra. I usually put mine towards helping the homeless, which there's a very, very large population of here, which makes me sad. But yes, thank you everybody for dropping by and hanging out, and I will catch all of you in the next video. Should be going up Saturday because this is technically for Friday. Yes. I can't even figure out what day it is right now. I'm so tired, you guys. So again, thanks for stopping by and hanging out through my insomnia-induced rambling, and I will catch you all again Saturday. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye.